Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to another cooking demo. Today, what we're going to focus on are two of the recipes that were included as part of your REACHN Kickstart recipe packet. First, I want to cover a couple of things. One, everyone should have received a Kickstart grocery list for September. I tried to create the grocery list so that you could shop by aisle. And again, the goal would be to shop the perimeter of the store more than the internal aisles of the store. The perimeters usually have your produce, your fruit. The inner aisles tend to be more of your processed foods, but there are some things on the list that you do have to go to the inner aisles to obtain. If you're a member of the Breidenthal Club, this week you'll be receiving your first healthy food subscription, and it will contain all of the items you need to prepare the recipes we're going to make today. So I wanted to make some recipes today that were easy, that you could spend a minimum amount of time in food prep, but that you could use for your lunch or for your kiddos' lunch. And all of the recipes are out on Google Classroom. If you aren't able to print them out, let Ozzy or I know, and we can be sure to provide them for you the next time we see you. Before we get deep into the recipe making, though, I did briefly want to cover one of the learning topics from today's assignments, which is energy density. Energy density is not a concept that most of us learn. You think of your calories, you think of your carbohydrates, your protein, your fats, but the reason I wanted you to think about energy density was to have a way to compare the nutritional value of foods across a broad spectrum and not just to focus on the calories. So in the reading material, there's a very high-level overview, and I've distilled it down into a handout too that I'll post that just gives you a sense of when you're looking at a food label, and these are garbanzo beans, that you can look at the number of calories and the number of grams in that food item and get a sense of, is it a lower energy density item? And when I think of a lower energy density item, I'm thinking of unprocessed foods like broccoli or beans, as opposed to something like potato chips, which if you look at the number of calories per gram, you're going to find that they fall into a higher energy density category. So what's the purpose of thinking about energy density? One, if you're on a journey to optimize your health, lose some weight, looking at energy density is one way that may be helpful in terms of making those decisions while you're shopping. I think we tend to get too focused on how many carbs, how much fat, how much protein, when sometimes that can get lost in the bigger picture of, is this a healthier option for me? And that really is the purpose of just that brief overview on energy density. It also is meant to have you think while you're shopping, if you choose to put some of those more highly processed foods that have the sugar, the oil, and the salt in them, just take a look at the package and think twice about, is that something you want to put in your cart? If you do, that's okay, but maybe it's not something you want to be eating every day. So on to our cooking demo for today. So we're going to start with our crunchy chicken salad. And it's crunchy, not because of the chicken, but it's crunchy because of the vegetables. And what you'll see is I tend to have more vegetables than anything else in the chicken salad. Now, there's a couple of things I wanted to go over with you before we start to prepare the salad. And one of them was a great comment that was made as we were getting ready for class today. Meal prep may seem like another job. It may seem like a chore, but you can make it fun. Is it something that you can do with the kids? Can you start to teach your kiddos some knife skills, have them help you chop the vegetables, and then you can also talk about where those vegetables come from. You can also do a little bit of multitasking. So during yesterday's class, So what was yesterday, Saturday? Friday night, I had this bag of garbanzo beans, and I put the garbanzo beans in a big bowl of water along with some, and I think I lost it, along with some of this vegan chickenless salt. So a little bit of the seasoning salt, which has onion powder, turmeric, and garlic powder in about 6 cups of water. I let them sit overnight, and some red pepper, because I love red pepper. And then during yesterday's class, I put them on the stove at a low temperature. And by the time we were done with class, my beans were cooked. And so I had a big bowl of beans ready to go. I didn't have to do much except put it in the refrigerator on Friday night, put it in a pan with some water over low heat on Saturday morning. And now I have enough beans that we'll use for the recipe today. And then I also made some wonderful air fried chickpeas, which if you like something that's a little crunchy, it's a great healthy alternative. I had the chickpeas that I had prepared yesterday, put them in the air fryer in a single layer, sprinkled some cayenne pepper on top of them, and now I've got a healthy snack. And if you think about it, this big bag of garbanzo beans, also called chickpeas, probably cost me $2.99. And I'm going to get multiple meals out of it and a healthy snack. So our recipe today, we're going to use a couple ingredients that may not be familiar to you. So in your healthy food distribution this week, you're actually going to have a package of plant-based alternative. And this is actually a local product, which I found, and it's from Kansas Kitchen, and it's a plant-based, so it's a soy product. If you don't like soy, definitely can find other options that may use pea protein or other types of proteins. But the value of this is that 1, it's plant-based. 2, because it's plant-based, it has 0 grams of fat. And the other thing is that this textured soy protein takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it with. So if you were to add some cumin, some chili powder, and make a more of a taco-based seasoning, you can do that. With this, I added a little bit of vegan chicken broth, and now it'll take on the taste of some chicken. So it's a great alternative if you're trying to cut down on meat. You could use half of this, half meat. All of the recipes that we provide where you see the chicken without the chicken, please feel free to substitute whatever type of protein, animal or plant-based, that you prefer. But I want to give you an opportunity to try these other products. So the recipe is really easy. Grab a big bowl, and I've done a little bit of prep because I'm trying to keep our cooking demos to about 30 minutes. So this is what the rehydrated soy protein looks like. They look like crumbles. They almost look like you've taken some chicken and you've diced it up. And again, all I did to prepare this was to take a cup of the dry chicken crumbles along with some chicken broth, put it in, let it soak, and you're done. Again, not a huge time and energy investment. So I'm going to pop this into a bowl. Now, the other thing you can do, if you're not a meat eater and you don't want to use any of these alternative meat products, you can make this recipe completely with plants. And a great alternative option to using the chicken meat alternative or to using an animal-based protein is I like to use garbanzo beans. So again, the same batch of garbanzo beans that I prepared yesterday, all I did is I put these in a bowl. You take a fork and you mash them up a little bit, and the mashed garbanzo beans kind of take on that texture that you may get with a chicken salad or a tuna salad. I'm actually going to combine the two just to show you that you can be creative with these recipes. I provide them as a foundation. I hadn't thought about it myself until I actually prepared the garbanzo beans, but let's go ahead and add some smashed garbanzo beans to our bowl. Now, the next thing I'm going to add is just a little bit of lemon juice. Unfortunately, I forgot my lemon, so I don't have a fresh lemon, but I always have a little bit of lemon in a bowl, lemon in a jar. So this is just some organic lemon squeeze. Just going to put a little bit of the lemon just to give it a little bit of acidity to the recipe. And then we're going to add a 1/4 cup of, I'm going to use Follow Your Heart, which is an organic mayo. It's plant-based. If you are trying to cut down on your fat intake, or you don't want to consume any type of canola oil or soy products, the other alternative to using a mayo is to use hummus. So if you like hummus, you can definitely substitute a low salt, low fat hummus as kind of the binder for this recipe. It's a great healthy alternative, and it'll even add some enhanced flavor. So I'm just going to take a 1/4 cup of this, and we're going to add that to our bowl. So right now in the bowl, I have a cup of the pea protein and a cup of the mushed garbanzo beans. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of our plant-based mayo. I've added a little squeeze of lemon. And now I'm just going to mix these two together. And again, if you think about chicken salad as you may get it in a recipe at a restaurant or what your mom used to make, it used to be pretty heavy on the mayo in my house. So I have tried to reduce the requirement for your hummus or your mayo to just what you need in order to bind this together. Now to that, we're going to add some sweet pickle relish. So I have my sweet pickle relish here in a bowl, and I also added to it a little bit of the vegan chickenless seasoning, which you can get from Trader Joe's. I added some garlic powder, and I added a little bit more crushed red pepper, because in my book, you can never have enough crushed red pepper. So we're just going to add that to the bowl. Now, again, if you're trying to cut back on your salt or you're cutting back on your sugar, you can reduce or omit any of the sodium-based options, sodium being salt, that are in the recipe, or use this low sodium version. But again, the pickle relish adds a little bit of that vinegary flavor to your chicken salad that is very characteristic of the traditional chicken salad. And then our last thing, which is the best thing, and what gives it the crunch, are the veggies. So here is a mixture of jalapeno peppers, celery, and red onion. Now, I'll be honest with you, I like my food spicy. So while the recipe calls for 1 jalapeno pepper, I used 3. I probably used more along at a 1/2 cup of red onion. And then with the celery, I just take a couple stalks, and whatever ends up being, that's what I end up adding. But I call it crunchy chicken salad because this vegetable mix gives it a great crunch. You know, you can use this as a lettuce wrap filler. You can use it as a dip with crackers, or you can get some whole wheat buns and put it on a bun and make a chicken salad sandwich. So I'm going to add my veggies to my bowl. And the great thing, and I don't want you to get the impression that this is a complex recipe, because if I was cooking this from scratch, I would actually just be adding everything to 1 bowl. So you don't need to use all of these bowls that I'm showing you. Once you start prepping, I usually tend to keep this as a 1 bowl meal. So I'm going to mix this well. And believe it or not, you've got your crunchy chicken salad. So again, if you look at how much chicken salad there is here, and I'll hold up the bowl and I'll tilt it just a little bit. I don't want to tilt it out. This is enough. I mean, if you were making sandwiches, this would keep all week. You could make sandwiches for yourself. You could make sandwiches for your kiddos. If you wanted to use this as a side for dinner at night, you've prepped enough with this one preparation, and it takes you all of maybe 20, 25 minutes, minus prepping the soybeans and minus prepping the vegetable protein, and you've got enough to feed the family for several different meals. And I will tell you, this is one of my favorite things to nibble on. Again, it's higher protein if you are focused on protein, but more importantly, it has that crunch, it has the tangy, it has a little bit of sweet and salt together that I just find so gratifying. It's kind of a comfort food, and it takes almost no time to make. So again, that was the crunchy chicken salad. I've given you some different alternatives for adding other things. You can even use this if you wanted to you make it for a party and use it for taking to a barbecue or taking as a side dish to a party. But I just like to prep a bowl, have it available, and eat it as needed over the course of the week. So let me put this aside. And just one more thing again about those garbanzo beans. So remember, I made this, I made the chicken salad, and then you didn't see all the ones I ate while I was prepping. That one bag of garbanzo beans, again, about $3 worth of beans, can make multiple meals. And so it's a great quick way to meal prep, and it will help you make wise choices when you walk in the door in a late evening and you don't really have the time or energy to prepare a meal. You've got something almost ready to go. So the other thing we wanted to make was another type of either dessert or treat for your kiddos. And these are the no-bake nut butter energy bites. And you should have this recipe available to you on Google Classroom. The thing I love about this recipe is, again, it's one bowl. You don't have to turn on the oven, and you can make enough energy bites. Oh, I probably will get 15 to 20 energy bites out of this recipe, and a serving size is about 4. So what I like to do is I'll put them in a little reusable snack pack. I'll probably put 2 or 3 in there, throw them in my work bag. And if I get a craving for something either sweet or I just need to pep myself up in the middle of the day, it's a great healthy way to avoid going to the snack machine. A couple of comments on some of the ingredients that you'll find as add-ins. I wanted to, if you're not familiar with hemp hearts are a great source of low carb, high protein, plant-based nutrition that actually has a very high omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio. So a lot of times when we add more plants to our plate, there's a concern about, am I getting enough of the healthy fats in my diet? And one healthy way to do that is by adding a few hemp hearts to your smoothies, to your shakes. You can sprinkle them on top of your salad. They have this really nutty, rich crunch and taste to them that I think you'll enjoy. And these will be in your, you'll find some hemp hearts in your healthy food subscription too. And the same applies with flax seeds and chia seeds. So we talked a little bit about chia seeds in the past. I've shown you how to use both chia and flax as an alternative to eggs. Again, using them as a binder. But the great thing about this flax chia blend is that this mix is actually high in alpha linoleic acid, omega-3 fatty acids, magnesium, fiber. They add another type of that nuttiness and crunch to, I sprinkle them on my oatmeal. You can put them in these energy balls You can add them to just about anything, even to your shakes. But again, they're a source of healthy fat. The chia will sometimes allow what you're making to have a little thicker consistency. And I just find it's a very nice way. Sprinkle a tablespoon on top of whatever you're eating, and it adds a little extra nutrition. So for this recipe, this is actually really easy. I already put my peanut butter. So what's required for this recipe is a half cup of nut butter. And I said nut butter, but if you or someone in your house has a nut allergy, you can also use sunflower butter as an alternative to this. And I think I put that, yes, as an allergen-free butter. You can also use that option. I mixed my nut butter with my maple syrup and my vanilla. So that's what you already see prepared in the bowl. Just going to get my little scoop and mix that around a little bit. And then to this, I'm going to add my oatmeal. So my favorite oats are these Bob Red Mill extra thick gluten-free oats. Why? Well, one reason is I can eat these out the bag with nothing on them. I know that sounds strange, but if you like muesli or you like eating oats that are dry, these just have a wonderful flavor. I've tried tons and tons of oats, and I can honestly say that these Bob's Red Mill oats really have some of the best taste if you tend to eat them uncooked. So all I did is I have my cup and a half of oatmeal, and I added my cinnamon to them. I tend to be heavy-handed with the cinnamon because I love cinnamon. And I'm just going to add that to my bowl. And the same thing applies with these energy balls. If I was cooking this just on my own without trying to show you how to prepare the foods, I would do it all in one bowl. I am very much a one bowl cook because I hate to clean up. So you can just massage your oats into your combination of nut butter and maple syrup. So that's one other thing. If you use a nut butter that's already sweetened, you don't necessarily need to add the maple syrup. So I used a all natural peanut butter, which has just peanuts. You'll see that sometimes you'll get the oil separating out from the thick part of the nut butter. You mix that up with a knife, you measure out how much you need, but the nut butters that are made with just peanuts or cashews or almonds or whatever type of butter you like to enjoy, if you don't have added cane syrup or other types of sweeteners, you can leverage the maple syrup. But if you already have a sweetener added to your peanut butter, you may want to give this a taste before you add any maple syrup, because otherwise it could, at least to me, it could become a little bit too sweet. So I've just combined my oats and my nut butter. And this is all something you can do in one bowl. And then the final thing we're going to add is, in this bowl, I measured out my chocolate chips, my hemp seeds, and my flax chia blend. I actually, again, I don't eat dairy products. So if you are looking for a great source of chocolate chips that are free from the top 14 allergens, these Enjoy Life chocolate chips are wonderful. They have a great flavor. You can see on the back, they are free of many of the top allergens, and you can find them in many stores now. I definitely find them in Sprouts. You can always get them on Amazon, where I think we all shop nowadays anyways. But they are, if you have any nut allergies, dairy allergies, or certain things you like to avoid, the Enjoy Life are great. Their whole product line adheres to those similar principles. So whether you're thinking about their bars, their cookies, their breakfast snacks, Enjoy Life is a great brand to explore for looking for healthy options if anyone in your household may have some allergies. So I'm just going to add the chocolate chips, the hemp seeds, and the flax and chia to my bowl and give that a mix. Now at this point, you have an option, and I would recommend it. I usually put this in the fridge for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. And the only reason I do that is it makes it a little bit easier when you go to form the balls, that they're not melting in your hand. But if you want to go ahead and make your balls right away, you can actually do that. Another easy kind of touch-free way to make your energy balls is if you have a small ice cream scoop, you can actually use an ice cream scoop and use that to make your nut balls, your nut butter balls. But if you take a look at this, so all I've done is I've combined all the ingredients in one bowl, and then all you would do would be to take a scoop, roll it into a ball, and then you've got your energy balls. And I will tell you, these are absolutely delicious. If you are not following a lower salt diet, one other thing, once you've made all your balls and you have them laid out in either a bowl or something that you can cover and store, sprinkling a few granules of the sea salt on top. There's just such a wonderful combination of the salt with the sweet that it just ups the flavor a little bit. It is completely optional. Again, especially if you're following a low salt diet, as most of us should. High sodium is one of the things that we definitely try and avoid with all of our recipes and all of our shopping in Reachin. But this little sprinkle of the sea salt just does something to these energy balls that I can't describe, but it elevates the flavor and will definitely provide you with some extra kick if you decide to try these energy balls. So gang, that's all we have for today. Again, we did the crunchy chicken salad. We made the no-bake nut butter energy balls. You could do both of these recipes each in a single bowl. The nut butter balls will keep for a week in the refrigerator covered. If they last a week, let me know, because I can't seem to make mine last a week. And then the same with the chicken salad, mainly because anything that has like that mayonnaise type of base, I tend not to want to keep around too long. So keep that covered in the refrigerator, and that should also keep for a week. I hope you enjoy these recipes. Let me know if you have any thoughts. We will be having a potluck, and I provided some information about the potluck, but our next cooking demo we're going to do as a potluck. And what I'd love to do is to have you share your favorite recipes with the rest of the participants. And if you have a recipe that you love and you would like for me to try and make it more plant forward, or to look at it and add some healthy touches, please feel free to share that too. And I'm happy to send that back to you with some recommendations. Be well, have a great day, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.